to the cloud. Recording. There we go. How's everybody doing this morning? Sounds like
feeling wonderful.
Everybody's having some fun. So
every day.
Here's a question for you. What is it that's going to make a difference today? Ask yourself that question. What is it that's going to make a difference today? Because this is all we got, right? We only got today. So as we get started, as we start to plug in, and as my computer starts to redo whatever the heck it was doing here just a second ago, go ahead and send out your 3 messages.
I know you're not wearing your glasses today. I know something different.
Yeah. That's because my phone is smaller and it's closer, and I don't need my glasses to see when I'm having a conversation close. I need them for far. So yeah, I just it's in that middle land right now where the phone sits at. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Go ahead and send out your 3 messages right now, folks. Go ahead and have a conversation with the universe. Find those people who are in your life that need to hear you, need to be a part of what you're doing, and that they're important to you. As I'm waiting for my computer to reboot, it just absolutely froze here a minute ago. Actually, about 12 minutes ago. So if you're done with your chats, if you're done with sending out your chats, type a D in the chat. Good morning, everybody. If anybody, this is their first time on the call, if this is the first time coming here, drop a 1 in the chat. And we'd like to just welcome you and say thank you for you all being here tonight, this morning. Whatever, yeah, it's been an all-nighter, so that's why I'm not sure what time it is. So, Ed, here's another question for you. What are you modeling? What are you modeling? Right now, in your life, in your day, in your spirit. Chadlack, it's always the first time you're here, brother. We're just so happy to have you here. What are you modeling? Who are you modeling? What are you modeling your life after? Now, if you really take a look at that, and your life is filled with incremental growth. Incremental growth, step by step, breath by breath. You're modeling your past. Now, think about this for just a second. You're modeling your past. The reason I say that is because how much of life changed this morning? How much of your life changed this morning? What things made you go, wow, I really have to put some effort into that? For me, a little bit of things that changed is last night I slept, I don't want to say upside down in the bed, but I slept where my feet normally go. What? Yeah. I'll sleep upside down in the bed. I'll turn around. I'll sleep in a chair. I'll sleep. Sometimes I may go upstairs and go to sleep with Mason and then get up and come downstairs. The thing is, thanks for everybody dropping in. You're done when you've sent out your messages. The reason I'm asking you, what are you modeling, is because we're modeling our past, is because we're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's why it's called habitualization. We talked about this. What can you do different today? Hey, Shammy, and thanks for your post on Instagram, Shammy. I appreciate you. Love you tons. What are you doing different today? What's going to be different in your life? See, we want goals that show up in our life. We want things that absolutely excite us, enthuse us, give us joy, give us an awakening. Was your prayers different this morning? When you woke up this morning, did some kind of prayer come out differently? Did you pray this morning? Did words of gratitude flow freely, say that 5 times, flow freely from you to do more, be more, have more? All by doing less. Do you realize in doing more, it's going to require you to do less? To have more is going to require you to have less. Do you understand that? Does that sink in? In order to do more, you have to do less. You have to do less of something else. We wind up fractioning our success. We wind up delaying our own success. I see Miss Rhonda Bird Parker there. I'm president of her fan club. I see her there. She's cooking some breakfast. What if every minute she had that pan on the stove, she takes it off for 5 minutes? You want to understand multitasking? Put the pan on, full heat, everything's cooking, take the pan off for 5 minutes. That's multitasking. You can't cook the damn success. And all we're doing is cooking an egg. We give the egg has more power than we do. Right? Because the serving has more power than we have. How many of us have ever burnt something of our own food? How many of us have forgot to eat? If all of these things happen, it's because sometimes we don't take care of ourselves. How many of us know we need to be drinking more water? There's the simplest of things. Einstein said, everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. Everything should be as simple as possible, but not simpler. Well, what does that mean? There's certain things that are required, Wallace D. Wattles, doing things in a certain way. Not about doing certain things, it's about doing them in a certain way. I'll go back to the simplicity of breakfast. How many ways can you cook an egg? Bob Proctor says it this way. Electricity, we don't know how electricity works, but I know you can cook a meal. I know you can cook a man's meal with electricity, and you can also cook a man. It's all about how we use it. You know what cooks the egg? Heat cooks the egg. Heat cooks the egg. But how many ways can you cook an egg with the heat? How many ways are you going to cook your success with your experience? Are you over easy? Are you scrambled? Are you soft boiled? Are you hard boiled? Are you a little bit runny? Are you a little bit firm? What's the story? I know it's probably weird to hear success linked to an egg, but we do all of these things all day long. You're sunny side up. Here's the reality. We all have the same amount of time. Stop trying to control time. You can't. Time management, good luck, not a chance. The only thing you can control in time is your energy. It's your emotions. How do you feel in time? Do you feel good that you're doing this stuff in time? Does that make sense? So now the question then becomes, what do I do different? What do I do different? What if today all you could do was carry 3x5 cards, something like this, something that size, and you had the ability to write, you were able to carry 10 of these, and each of these had a statement on them. What would those 10 cards have on them? What would those 10 cards be? Could be hello, could be I can't talk, could be tell me your story. You'd be surprised how much you would actually get done, how much you would actually hear in life, how many stories you would actually hear at a whole new level if you couldn't talk. How much of your talking are you buying back your old story? How much of your conversation are you having today that you already have? How many of you already had a conversation today that was the same as yesterday? This is why it's so important in the morning, before your eyes crack open and your feet touch the ground, is to start to work on this unlimited potential that you have. You have this unlimited potential, unlimited possibilities. until, how did you know that? How come you didn't freak out when you woke up this morning? Now, maybe some of you did, I don't know. But how come you didn't absolutely have to wonder where you are? Because you recognized it. You instantly recognized it. And the second you recognized it, what pattern of you was taking over, your future or your past? And then you recognized, you said, okay, I'm in my bed. How many of you traveled, or at some point in your life traveled like ridiculously? Once a week, once a day. There were years that I did 120 flights. That doesn't even count the miles. That's just getting on a plane 120 times. I would wake up in hotels based upon where the alarm clock was. Hilton always had their clocks in one place. The Hyatts always had their clocks in one place. I can't even think of it. The signs were green. But anyways, I would wake up and I'd go, where am I? When I was traveling through Puerto Rico and St. Croix and St. Thomas, I'd fly into Puerto Rico from Orlando on Sunday. I'd be in the office in in Dorado, Puerto Rico on Monday. Tuesday, I'd get on a plane. Tuesday night, I'd be in St. Croix for Wednesday meetings with Hess Oil. Get on a plane Thursday to St. Thomas first thing in the morning, because Wednesday was when the cruise ship came in and we went lineman, for those of you that speak island talk. And then Friday, I'd fly back home to Orlando. I did that for a whole year. It was a lot of fun. It was exhausting. You travel a lot when you don't know where you're at when the plane lands, because you just woke up and you don't know till you walk into the terminal. What's changing in your day right now? What are you going to allow to happen different in your day right now? What are you going to make different in your day right now? How many of you, if you started taking notes with your left hand or your opposite hand, what would happen? What would change? What would go different for you? What would you do differently? You got to write with your different hand. You got to eat with your different hand today. Would that feel funny? So some of you are expecting quantum results, and you're doing the same thing that allows snail results in the world. You're thinking quantum results. You're wanting quantum results. You're not doing quantum things. A quantum jump is when you move from point A to point B without passing any time in between. Think about it this way. How many of you can think of your first kiss? If you can think of your first kiss, type a K in the chat. Good morning, all you new souls. There's a K. So you type a K in the chat. You can think of your first kiss. Now, I didn't ask you if it was good. Because ladies, the stories I've heard of your first kisses, of the guy who thought he was Don Juan, Don Kisser, Don the best, whatever it is, probably ain't the case. But you can remember it. Why? Because it was emotional. It was your first one. Some of you may not be able to remember the kiss because you blocked it out, but you can remember who it was with. That's a quantum leap. You just went from today back how many years? How many years ago was your first kiss? Mine was 40 years ago, 14 maybe. So, yeah, too many years ago. The point is this. If it was that long ago, how come you didn't have to, listen carefully, how come you didn't have to go, what did I have for breakfast yesterday? Then what did I do yesterday? Oh, hold on. All right.
We don't hear you, Sean. There you are.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go
Yes.
ahead.
Awesome. So let me click. Are we recording? We're still recording. So good.
Yes, you're still recording.
So here's the thing. What change? So let me ask you, if you were doing a presentation right now and all of that just happened to you, would that have taken you out of your game? Some of you probably not. Probably most of you not. But the reality is you got to keep telling your story. So when I look at it, I start to giggle. I giggle when things like this happen. Why? Because it's the universe trying to keep us from having a conversation today. And here's what I know. Here's what happens when you start paying attention to the obvious at a quantum leap. The story that might be important to tell probably ain't going to come from me. There's probably an important story here that I would have got frustrated. The presenter, the person providing the platform, it's too easy for us to get taken out of our game, and we miss a story. We miss a story. This just happens. Things like this happen. I've been through the ringer. You guys have known I've been sitting at McDonald's because the internet went out at the house. What's your story? The challenges are going to happen to keep me normal. Challenges are going to happen to keep me in my place. Why? Because as much as I think in the conscious world, the subconscious world of mine is just like yours. It wants to stay the same. I wasn't born with DNA that says you're always going to be different, although that's what it looks like. This is something I work on a moment-by-moment basis, not even a day-by-day basis. If I don't focus on it on a moment-by-moment basis, normal sinks back in. Average sinks back in for me. So little things like this that change us, that little things like this that challenge us, you go, oh, you think you got me? You don't have me. This is nothing. But the other thing is, here's what makes this important. You all are rooting for me too. I know that. I can feel that. And what I mean by that is that who's on your team? Are they rooting for you, or are they waiting for you to fail to make some noise? Listen carefully. That's a tough one to find out. That's a tough one to answer. Are they rooting for you to win, or are they waiting for you to fail to make some noise? And then you hear that. How many times everybody at a restaurant's having a conversation at their table, but what does everybody do when somebody drops a tray of dishes or glasses or something? They all start clapping, don't they? Are they clapping because they want to reinforce the fact that, listen, it's okay, life's okay, things happen, we're here to support you, thank you? Or is it kind of a little gig in the side? We heard you fail. The people that hang around you, how many of them are going to be hanging around you when you hit your success, when you reach the success you're daily, instantly, and momentarily, every moment by moment striving for? Maybe that's what's holding you back. How many people that are around? I can tell you. When I was, so I'm to this year, I think I turned 55. I think I turned 55, 65. Yeah, pretty sure. People who were with me when I was 40 aren't around me now. They're not here. They're not here. People when I was 30, gone a long time ago. 20, gone a long time ago. I still keep in contact with them. There's 2 people from my high school that I keep in contact with. Two. What happened to all of the rest of them? They're living. When do they show up in your conversation? When they get sick or, God forbid, pass away? The people who you're around right now, get used to it. They're not going to be around you. Either they're going to change or you're going to change. But let me ask you this: 40 years from now, are you all going to be in the same mindset? Are you going to all have the similar life experiences? The way you have lifetime friends is you become part of a brotherhood, a sisterhood. Sometimes that has to do with, there's a gentleman on here, 17 years, maybe now 18 years sober, 18 years sober. He meets somebody who's a recovering alcoholic. You're instantly in the club. You're instantly part of the crew. Why? Because you have a similar background. You can have a similar background and be instantly okay with somebody, but your past was never the same. My question to you is this: how many people are wanting what you want? You know the answer to that? Absolutely none. Why are you doing what everybody else is doing? Good gosh, don't follow in my footsteps. That means you can't get farther than me. Run alongside me. Use me as a mentor. Use me as a guidepost. Use me as a mile marker. And at some point, you're going to pass me. That's the joy and goal of every mentor. Pass me. Become the teacher. At what moment will you become the teacher? I sign a lot of my cards and posts and stuff, student and friend, to those people who inspire me, who motivate me. Because you're teaching me how to be a better friend to you. You're teaching me how to be a better mentor to you. You're teaching me, at some point, I hope you all pass me. You become better. You start to be able to reach down and lift me up. Is that possible? I believe yes. I believe it happens every time somebody comes on here and has an emotional conversation. Because you're sharing from your heart. See, the brain understands, but the heart knows. The brain is aware, but the heart knows. The brain has a story, the heart knows. So what's going to change for you in today? What are you going to do today that's different? What are you going to do going, that's weird? And for those of you looking at the back of this, this is just the backdrop from yesterday. It was actually 29th, 329 episode, 329th episode. What are you feeling as you're hearing this? What are you grasping? What's happening inside of you right now? What's that story that's bubbling up for you? So if you've got a question or a comment, if you're somebody that needs a little help today, and you need a little love today, you need us to pour into you a little bit today, or there's something that you've got to get off your chest today, go ahead and raise your hand, and we'll start the open Q&A now. This is about you being able to do more. Hey, Julie, how are you? We've got Julie on line one.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
Outstanding, my love.
So I just want to share something that happened to me. I had like an aha moment, and it's insane how this goes in line with what I was feeling this morning. So when I was in my morning routine, the past few days actually I've been like feeling a little bit like lost in clarity. I feel like I could do more, but I don't. So I'm reading this book. It's called Ask and It Is Given, and the book is saying, like showing you like who you really are. So I came upon this page that said, the reason why you're not accomplishing your desires is because you're not in line with your vibrational, like this pattern. And the moment that it said that, I was like, whoa, that's the reason why I've been feeling like frustrated, like I can do more. I've been feeling like everybody that I associate myself with, it's draining my energy, and it's really hard for me to like let them go. So now, going to this conversation, I just tuned into your call. It all goes like, it all relates. It all relates, and I feel like I'm shaking right now, and I'm not on pre-workout. So, so I feel, and it's insane, Sean. Like even my meditation today, I felt like I was high on something. It was super, super crazy. So the fact that I came into this call, I'm just amazed. Like I just wanted to say that. I hope that helps someone. I know I make no sense, but I just wanted to say what I wanted to say.
Well,
Bye.
Julie, I love you, Julie, and enjoy your workout. The reason, so here's what I remember when we talked about this whole idea. I forget what day it was. It was some day this week where we had all of the questions that resonate inside of a body. That when a question lands on a body, it activates the neurological, the biological, the chemical. Right? It activates those 5 things. So how can you have a thought and your body start vibrating? That's a chemical. That's a biological. That's a neurological. And that's just from a thought. And this happens every time we have a question. We pose a question to our prospect. Do they feel threatened? Do they feel engaged? Do they feel honored? Do they feel respected? Does it vibrate them because listen, you vibrated before, Julie. You've been in the military. You vibrated before, and that was a thing of massive defense. That was a thing of being at your highest adrenaline to be able to fight or flight or freeze. But now you're standing in a gym and you're vibrating. The body's doing the same thing. You've got a different. Listen carefully. You've got a different story. How many of us can change our story to our situation? Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Love you, girl. Shammy, go ahead. We've got Shammy online too.
So I'm driving, so I won't put the camera, and hopefully you can hear me good, because I know
Hear you great. Love you, dear.
Okay. So last time when I was gonna say my realization for that week was that I have to surrender to my old story, and it might not be as painful as I think, just because of hearing everyone's story that week about like everything everybody else has been through, and then writing a new one and surrendering to that too. And I just wanted to say I'm reading a book called The Book of Joy, and your talk yesterday and the day before was amazing. Like everything just like really, I mean, every morning call is amazing, and it always like seems like it's meant for you, for me, or for, I know everybody must feel like that. But in the book, there's a comment that really I would like to share, because it was, I'm sorry. It's it says, when we look at the same event from a wider perspective, we will reduce the worrying and our own suffering. So like when we widen our perspective on our situation and think about all the situations that people go through, and like your morning calls this week was all about that. Widening our perspectives makes us see it so much different, and it reduces our worrying and our suffering, just by knowing that, you know, so many people go through so much, and that we're not alone, that we're never alone, and there's always somebody that might be suffering a little bit more than like my best friend, actually, like my best friend ever, she was MIA the whole month of, actually like a whole month, this past whole month, and I was getting a little bit worried, and I was calling her, and then you say to send the morning message. I sent her, I felt like she was ignoring me. I felt kind of bad, because she had like, we're really close. I have never felt like she had ignored me before. Twice I sent her morning messages, and she didn't really reply. And then on the third one, she did reply. And then when I got to speak to her, she was going through a lot. She was going through a lot. She apologized for being a little bit MIA, and she was going through a lot. And then I spoke to her about the morning calls, and I spoke to her, I gave her advice I should take myself. And she told me herself, how much better she felt. And then that made me realize, that I do have to widen my perspective on my past and things that I have to, just surrendering to my past and like painful emotions, or because just the way I was raised, it might not seem like it, but I don't want to say ghetto, but my lifestyle, my mom, my home was just not what I want for my kids. So that's why I want to change my whole life to give them a better life and be joyful. I really like the Book of Joy by Dalai Lama and Archbishop. It's an amazing book. There's also a few other comments, like as we recognize other suffering and realize that we are not alone, our pain is lessened. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And the Tibetans have a saying, which is the Dalai Lama's people, they have a saying that says, wherever you have friends, that's your country, and wherever you receive love, that's your home. And that I feel like this morning call is my home this whole year. I want to be on every call. I feel like that's going to be my home this whole year, because it's where I'm receiving love and wisdom. And that's what I wanted to say. I'm a little shaky. I still get nervous. I know I've spoken a few times, but I still get nervous.
So Shami, let me ask you. You wanted to make a difference. You wanted your child's life, your children's life to be different. Do you think you're doing that?
I know I am.
Because I wanted you to know that there's 87 people on here right now that you just inspired to have a better day. So just made the world a little bit better for your children as they grow up.
Amen. I think I have a mission statement, a purpose statement written down. And I can't look for it right now, but the main thing I think about all the time is that I'm gonna be gone, but my children and my grandchildren are there, and I just how the world is going, it makes me think that I can do a little bit, or at least when I leave, I know that I did all that I could to leave a better world for them in whatever way, or God, has that, whatever way God puts for me to leave a better world. I always think more environmentally, because I am a little bit of a geek. I like science, I like biology, and I like the environment. And just the way the world is going is kind of scary. And I just want to live my life knowing that I did what I could for them.
So here's the great news. You made it.
My daughter just gave me a kiss.
Aw. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think we get those moments of godnesses, of godsidences? She kissed you because you were in the highest vibration and she was drawn to you. This is how life works, folks. Listen, let me ask you this. This is going to sound crazy. Here's how I sit down across the desks from somebody, across the table from somebody, across from you every morning. I do what I can. I do what I believe I'm supposed to do in this moment, so that at the end of this, if we were sitting across from each other and when we say goodbye in the morning, did I do a good enough job to deserve a hug, to deserve that intimate contact, to deserve to be able to vibrate in your personal frequency? That's the thing that I look for. When I sit down with a prospect, across the table, conversation, can I say at the end of a first meeting, you know what, I just got to let you know, I love you. I appreciate you. How many of you do the words,
yes,
when it oozes out of your mouth, is it filled with love or is it just a statement? When I say I love you, Shami, I love you. We have never met in time and space, but our energy has been wound up together for eons. I truly, absolutely love you. And I love every one of you on this call. I know that sounds crazy, and I know we hear it, but I want you to take it to the next level. What would it mean that if we're going to love each other, if we're going to be able to be the best of friends 6 months from now, 6 years from now, 60 years from now, what are we waiting for? So thank you for making the world a better place for me today, Sean. Thank you for letting it echo forward to be that person, to be that you be the source of somebody's smile today that changes the world. Listen, the only people that can make this world better,
thank you, I love you too.
I love you too, are the ones that decide to make it better. but we can't miss out on this moment. We see stress is when we're trying to control the future in this moment. We can't. We can only control now in this moment. So the reason your daughter gave you that little kiss on the cheek is because she wanted you to be in this moment. She loved who you are in this moment, driving your car, doing whatever you're doing. She wanted to be in this moment with you. People are drawn to you. You are either the cure or the disease, the cause. Thank you for sharing that.
Sean, can I offer one other book for Shammy right quick?
Absolutely.
So Shammy, when you were talking, first of all, I just love you. You're amazing. And I understand your vibration. I don't know how else to say that. So there's another book you're talking about, joy. It's 96 pages. This is it. And it's called The Secret of Spiritual Joy. And in 96 pages, we did a full 6-month study on this book, and it wasn't even enough. You will absolutely love it. And it will go along perfectly with what you're reading right now, and you'll get so much out of it. The Secret of Spiritual Joy.
Okay, I got it. I took a screenshot. That's 97 pages, you said?
Yeah, I think it's 96 total pages. So
I would
it's
read
an
that
easy
in
read.
Yeah,
but
like 2 days maybe.
Yeah, if there's a way for me to hold the camera and show you this, mine is so marked up. Like I have so many notes in this one book. It's unreal, and you'll love it, especially with where we're at right now.
Thank you. I'm gonna definitely go get it. Thank you.
I love all you guys.
Aww.
She's with you guys
We
all these
love you
morning calls ever since we got back from school break. We ride in the car and we listen to it. And so she hears it, and I think it's just amazing for both of us.
Mm-hmm. We love you, sweetie. She's such amazing girl. Yeah.
Thank
I
you,
think you
Yeah,
made
I've
every
already-
moment smart.
guys.
We love you.
You hear what happens on these calls?
Thank you.
If you want to understand business, that's the business we're in. MLM, me loving more, making lasting memories. The authority that you have over this world is incredible. The support you have in this world, where you back your faith, where you back your journey, who's standing, when you stand in your joy, in your glory, in your faith, whatever your faith is, but when you stand in knowing that today will be better than yesterday, and you're given these glimpses, the acronym was for MLM, me loving more. Mentors leading mentors. Some of you may want to go to the extreme of making lasting money, because that'll be easier for you to say than me loving more. But the point is this. When a child shows up on a call, how many people say, make sure you put your dogs away and your kids away, because you're going to want to focus here. You're going to want to be totally I need you focused here. I need you got to get rid of all those distractions. You're telling me my family and my dogs are a distraction? You got to wonder where their heart is. So, thank you. Appreciate you on that. Let's go to Mr. Bob Kane. Bob Kane on line 6. Bob Kane, go ahead.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Bob.
Good to hear you again, and good morning to everyone. A couple of things to share. One, I am so encouraged with the young people, especially that's on this call, because when I was their age, and I'm one of the few people on this call that makes it sound like young. Um, but I never thought about getting on a call like this, or you know, you folks are so far ahead of where I was at your age. That's very encouraging to me and for the future of our world and our society. So I encourage you to stay on this path that you're on and get a whole lot farther down it than I'll ever get. The other thing I wanted to share was this morning, and we talked before, Sean, about meditating and just what that means and how to do it. And I struggled with that for a bit, but I really had an aha this morning as I woke up, and my thoughts just went to pure gratitude. And as I just thank God for everything that He's done for me, I then shifted to everything that He's going to do for me. And I just stayed quiet, and various different thoughts came to my mind. And for the first time, I really felt that I'm starting to scratch the surface. I'm starting to get what we talked about, what you've encouraged people to do. And I don't know if others have struggled with, okay, how do you meditate? How does this work? But for me, that's what worked for me. Just get in pure gratitude, and be quiet, and keep your thoughts quiet, and it just helped a lot. And just feel really encouraged by where everyone's going and the difference that we can make in the world, because we really can make a difference in this world. One person at a time, our little corner of the world. And think about, we've got often now about 100 or so people on this call. If we're all, first of all, reaching out to our 3 people, and then everyone else that we're in contact with during the day, if we can all make this world a little bit better, we can truly make a difference. And that's so encouraging.
Well, Bob, I appreciate that. And that is the reality of the way the world works, the way the world spins.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you leading it by example and continuously making the world a little bit better place in your corner of the world. And I'm sure yesterday, a couple of smiles I saw were from you when you put them in the world. Appreciate you, brother.
Right, but have a great day.
Thanks, man. Hey, Monique Peters. Can you chat? You might not be able to.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, it took me a second.
No, that's okay. How are you
What's up?
feeling? How are you feeling this morning?
I am feeling great. I am like busier than ever. I sometimes don't even know what day it is. I'm running around doing 10 million things by 7 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy.
So what are you getting from all of this? I know we've chatted a couple of times on Instagram, and I said I want to have a conversation with you, and you're like, but now? But now's always the best time. I just got a feeling to hit you up, reach out to you. What are you getting from all of this? You're somebody who's been working and had some amazing challenges and opportunities to get better or get bitter, and you chose to get better. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've been, like I said, been running around, so I haven't heard everybody's 100%, zero focus stories, but I'm just gonna say whatever.
This isn't put you on the spot for a test.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I'm just gonna say what's on my heart, and if it applies, it applies. So, yes, I have been through some tough times. I'm a mom of 2, by the way, you guys. And I'll tell you, I have a 18-year-old daughter, which for anybody who has an 18-year-old, you're dealing with a "I'm 18" phrase all the time. You can't tell me what to do, So I just want to tell you, I have been through a lot of challenges in my life. And just because I get on these calls every day, and I've been doing this type of stuff, this self-improvement, focus on myself, focus on me being well so that I can be well for my family for a long time. I would say steadily every day of my life for at least 2 years. Okay. And 80% of the time, everything is really great, but I still go through challenges every day. And every morning I have to wake up and snap myself back into just breathing and taking a breath and knowing that not everything is under my control, but I do find that there is some relief in that, not always worrying that I have to control everything, or that I have to be happy all the time, or that I have to pretend everything is great all the time, because sometimes it isn't. But what I have found is that out of every experience, and if you look back in your own life, out of every experience, I would be surprised if you couldn't find a lesson in that experience. And, you know, sometimes you sit there and you go, oh, you know, like, if there was a God, why would I be going through this? You know, you say that type of stuff to yourself sometimes, but that's just more proof that there is a God, because he's testing you. He's making sure that you're alive and that you're awake and that you're vigilant. And that's how I take every day. If I get up and there's a challenge, I'm like, okay, what is this moment trying to teach me? That's the very first thing that I always say to myself. What is this moment trying to teach me? And sometimes that takes a little bit. I found that through my journaling and through reading and through getting on these calls. The earlier girl said, it's funny how you get on these calls and sometimes you're like, this call was like tailor-made for me. You know, I find that too, but you know, nothing happens by mistake. Everything happens for a reason. I believe that so much so that I tattooed it on my body. And it happens for a reason. Every minute of the day is tailor-made for you. Everything that you're feeling is tailor-made through you. To think that nobody in the world at this very moment is experiencing what you're experiencing at this very moment is such an incredible feeling. So don't stress, just relax and know that your life is going the way it needs to be going for you. Hope that helped.
Monique, it's powerful. And you know, everybody has shared a book that they like. Everybody's reading a book that they enjoyed. And we can come up with a list of 1,000 books. And here's what's so very, very important. There's only 26 letters in the alphabet, but how many thousands and millions of books have we been able to create with those 26 letters?
Right. Yeah, your life is a book. You can read books, which is other people's experiences, and they definitely help. But your life in itself is a book and a really great story. So just keep telling yourself your story. And you guys, as insignificant as you may feel your story is, it's not. It's going to speak to somebody out there. So don't be ashamed of it. Share it as much as you can. There's so much healing that goes on when you talk about the experiences that you've had, because you find, like, for instance, I'll tell you, like, when my daughter attempted to commit suicide, okay, at school, I, as a parent, felt so much shame because I felt like I was going to get judged, like somebody was going to tell me, you know, you're not doing enough. Where did you fail as a parent that your daughter is going through this? And I don't know what it was in the moment that told me, just start talking about it. You can't hold this in. You can't hold in this experience that you're going through, because somebody is going to resonate with it. And I have literally almost made a career out of telling this story. And you wouldn't believe how many parents come up to me and say, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with the same thing. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know if it was something that I was doing, you know? And of course, there's always something that you can improve upon in it. It made me look at what I was doing as a parent. And there was really nothing that I was like, that I would say I changed specifically with me and my daughter. But what I did do is I said, you know what? My daughter's watching me. And she held in all the pain that she was going through because I was pretending everything was okay. And I was pretending that it wasn't strong to feel weak. It didn't look good to feel weak. And so she was doing as I was doing, and it affected her the way it affected her. There was a book that I read that really, really helped me that I've never heard mentioned on these calls, but it's called Many Lives, Many Masters. And it is by Brian Weiss. And it's actually the true story of a psychiatrist and a patient that he had, that he regressed her through his past life. And not to give away too much of the book, but in the end of the book, or throughout the book, she basically goes through all of her past lives in therapy and regression therapy to find out that the common theme in all of her lives was that she wasn't learning the lessons she was supposed to learn in each of those lives. And until she started to realize she had to learn those lessons, her life kept repeating the same mistakes over and over and over. And the most beautiful thing about that book is that she found out that everybody that was involved in all of her lives were the same people every time, but just in different capacity. So I love getting on this call because I always think, man, what role did Sean play in my past life? Or all of you? Because at some point I have, like Sean said, when he says, I love you, and I really mean it because we've been connected, it's so true. It's so true. So
Monique, thank you for being present. Thank you for adjusting your schedule to just absolutely show up here during this call, to be able to come out of the focus that was something else and into this, and to be here present for everybody. Somebody of your caliber, somebody of your energy doesn't always, you get thanked, but they don't know how to truly thank you. And it's not that you need it, but every now and then it's nice for somebody to recognize you. So I just want to say thank you. I love you. I'm so in awe of you. And I need you to know that you, again, inspired the world telling your story. It's gotten easier. It'll never be easy, but it's gotten easier. There's still a biological and a chemical that when you think of that picture, when you think of that moment, that you relive, and you're reliving it now so that you realize the strength that comes from it. So just
right,
being this amazing soul, and thank you for doing what you're speaking in faith.
Thank you, guys. I love you all. I love you, Sean. Thank you.
Love you too. Thank you. This is just the greatest thing on the planet. It's funny, in my devotional today, it says, "Come to me with a thankful heart, so that you can enjoy my presence. This is the day that I have made. I want you to rejoice today, refraining from worrying about tomorrow." And then it goes on. Rejoice today. So we've got Latoya on line 4. Go ahead, Latoya.
Well, good morning. Great day, everyone. Thank you for having me on the call. This morning, I've lately been, waking up at 3 a.m., just consistently. But today, I woke up at 4:30, but I didn't get out of bed till like 5:30. And I normally would beat myself up, like, oh my God, I gotta do better than this. Oh my God, I can't believe you did this. Panicking or whatever. I mean, everything was done the night before, but I felt better. I felt at ease in a present moment. Like, I was thankful, grateful that, get up, and I was in gratitude. I was thankful for that moment. And I know I did something different. It had started early in the morning, because I normally would be like panicking. Oh my God, let me hurry up, get stuff done. And this, be getting mad at myself. Like, I woke up at 5:30, I can't believe it. I got to get up at 3 a.m. tomorrow, and be more disciplined. But I woke up like, man, I'm thankful for waking up, because, there's some people who haven't woke up this morning, and not just saying that, it's some people that just that chose not to wake up in the morning regardless, because their goals, their vision is not clear enough for them to identify and make a solid decision and do what is required. So it's like, I'm not just like waking up because I heard that what we do, but I'm doing what is required to be successful, doing the required steps. But it feels great. And then also being on these calls with you all and the community, it adds on to the gratitude, you all. And you just don't know, it goes viral, because now you're self-aware, and you're able to identify, like, you're able to respond to things differently, and how to handle things, whether you feel under pressure, or stuff like that. And you're able to smile and give hugs and give compliments more easy, because these calls also build confidence, you all. Like, I took it all in when I thought about it, like, why am I getting on these calls? What is the purpose? Why I'm getting on the daily awakening, calls? Why am I getting on mornings with nano calls? Why am I getting on all the motivational calls? And and that's the answers just start coming to me. You smile, or I know you're more positive. I know you don't, you're less confrontational. I used to be a confrontational person. So if I used to hear somebody talking about me, it used to rub me the wrong way. I just go, especially like I didn't agree with it. I go directly to the person who says something, and then, you know, I'll be ready to argue or whatever, right? But now it's like, it's no need for that. But I've been that way for a while, and I just want to thank you all for these calls, because when you apply the information, you apply the knowledge, and it's like, man, you just start seeing a change. I mean, like, it been more impact. It's a huge impact, and I thank you so much. And I thank you all for being on these calls, sharing your testimonies, you sharing how you feel, because, I mean, being transparent, oh my gosh, that just builds up the confidence. Like, if you could do that on this call, we could just imagine how many people we can impact just sharing our story. Just wow, just being transparent, you know? So thank you so much, you all. And I love you all unconditionally, all with gratitude. So I'm thankful for every one of you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Latoya. Love you tons. Appreciate
Love you as well.
Thank you. It's an honor. So we've got T.S. Brown. Good morning, T.S. Brown. Let's go to her on line 2.
Good morning. I'm sorry. I have like 4 little ones here and it's super loud. Sounds like a whole daycare. I just want to say thank you so much for the calls. And I do get on every morning. Sometimes I miss what you're saying because I'm getting them ready for school. But, and I always go on and like rewatch them. But I just really appreciate you, Sean, and I appreciate everybody that comes on the call and talks, because it's so many things that like I can't jump on and say, or questions that I want to ask that I can't because I'm in the middle of doing like 550 million things. But I truly just want to say thank you. Yesterday, I really appreciate, I don't know if he's still on the call. I forget his name. He was talking about journaling. And I was meaning to ask you about that, and I didn't get a chance to. So I appreciate him for coming on about that, because I journal. I used to journal a lot when I was younger, but now it's like I go to journal and then I don't know what to talk about.
So a couple of things is just start writing anything. I'm writing in my journal because I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave a story. Just start writing down your goals. Start writing down what's inspiring you. Sometimes we don't think our story is book worthy. I can tell you, when I wrote these weren't book worthy. They didn't seem like they were book worthy. But I can tell you, when the storm came and they were saying that there's a potential coming to the shelter, the first thing I grabbed was my journal. I didn't grab pictures. I grabbed my journal. So just start writing whatever's happening. Start writing something that the kids make you laugh. Because it's an kinesiology. It's actually your brain connecting to your hand, writing a story about you. So it's like, I don't know what to write. Write about this call. On the call. Write about taking care of the 4 kids today. That the pandemonium of joy. Just start writing. And then watch it start to unload.
Okay, see, that's what I was confused about, because I'm like, we're supposed to be journaling, but are we journaling about personal life, or are we journaling about business?
Yes, doing both. Okay. Doing anything, because isn't your business part of your life?
They're all singing, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's joy, that's music. And if anybody's agitated by that, just
okay.
What story am I supposed to be hearing right now?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You bet. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much, everybody.
There we go. We've got Jay Villa. Jay Villa in the house. Let's go to Jay Villa on line 7.
Good morning, Sean. How are you? Good morning, everybody.
Oh, sure. The sexy guy brings on the cute puppy. Like you needed to up your X factor.
No,
That's so not fair. That's so not fair. Oh my gosh.
Sean, so pretty much I want to just ask you some advice. So lately I've been trying to I have a problem finding clarity in my life. So any advice you could give me, maybe like the morning or night, try to sink in and try to find more clarity.
Okay. Would you? How soon would you like to find clarity?
As soon as possible.
Okay. So do me a favor. Look at the pink bow. Just look at it. No. Look at it. Look for something you didn't see before. What do you see on that bow you didn't see before?
It's a little bit dirty.
Okay. So look again. Do you see the folds in it? Are the folds equal on both sides?
Yes.
I want you to look at that bow, but I want you to think about, I want you to try to picture what it looks like on the other side. On the underside of, don't flip it, don't flip it.
Oh, okay.
Well, my point is I want, see, what happens is that we don't spend enough time putting our own mind together. We want the answer. The answer is in the looking. The clarity is in the becoming aware of. What is it? What do you to describe to me? What do you think it looks like on the underside of that bow?
Curly, pink.
Tell me what
a little
that
bit dirty.
Tell me what that bow does for Tipper. I'm guessing that's Tipper.
What it does, the bow?
Yeah. What is that? What is it? Is it,
to look cute? I mean, I just took her a shower, so it makes it look cute.
Okay. So what do you think she feels about it?
She probably hates it.
Why do you think that? Why do you think so?
Because she doesn't like when I put bows on her. Or my mom does, pretty much. She doesn't like it.
So, but why do they suffer through it?
Not sure, to be honest.
Take the bow off.
Take the bow?
Yeah, can she? No. Can she? Can she take that bow off?
No, she can't.
Okay, so then why do they suffer through it? Because they can't do anything about it. Do they like making you happy?
Yes.
So she likes making you happy. So maybe that's the suffering that she knows that, well, here comes the damn bow. Okay, I'll just wag my tail, and at least they won't put two bows on me. Isn't one bow better than two bows if that's the scenario?
Correct.
So what's happened while we've had this conversation for the last 3 minutes? Were you focused?
Yes, I was trying to visualize the bow.
So you want clarity, just pick something and start to dissect it, start to divulge into it, start to live it, start to be able to move inside of it. What if you were the bow? How would you feel right now if you were the bow sitting on Tipper? Would you feel warm?
Yes.
Would you feel the fur of Tipper?
Yes.
Would you like to be underneath Tipper down here on the chest or on the top so everybody could see you if you were the bow?
Oh, on top.
But where do you put the bow?
On top, right here.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it makes sense.
We're having a conversation. You asked me about clarity, and I could have given you 75 books to read. I could have told you what to do and journal and all of this. Why not use the thing that's right in front of you? So do me a favor. Just keep looking in the camera. I want you to tell me what it feels like to feel the struggle that's now gone. What did it feel like to hold her? What does it feel
I'm sorry?
like? What does it feel like to hold her?
She weighs a lot.
She's thick. She's got some,
yeah.
She's got some heft to her.
Yeah.
What's on her collar? Don't look. What's on her collar? On the red
a tag. She has the name of my mom and me and the phone number just in case she gets lost.
Okay, so there's 2 tags on there. What's the other tag say? Don't look.
It's from the doctor. It's like I live in Miami, so it's from the government. We have to have a government like ID, you could say. So they have ID.
Yep. I lived in Florida, so yeah, I know. So my point is this: sometimes we lose clarity because we're not focused on what's right in front of us. That's why we have to have, I need clarity, I don't know what to do. It's because you're not paying attention to the moment that's right in front of you. Holding Tipper the way you are now, can you rest your body strong enough? Can you get so clear? Can you have such clarity that you can feel her heartbeat?
Yes.
Can you feel it on your arms?
Yeah.
See, you knew it was there, but you never paid attention to it before 5 minutes ago. Isn't that the thing that drives Tipper, is that heartbeat? And if that heartbeat stopped, wouldn't your world just collapse? So get clear on the things that could collapse right in front of you that would change your world that you've missed out on. The biggest reason people get sad at people's passing is because of all of the future memories they said they shoulda, coulda, would have done. What if you've lived every moment to the absolute 100%? Every moment you're with Tipper, you're 100% with Tipper. And in that moment, at some point in the future, at some point in the very distant future, God willing, Tipper decides to go on and says, I can't do this anymore. And you guys say, okay, we agree with that. We don't like it, but is there going to be a moment where you're going to say, I could have thrown the stick one more time. I could have thrown the ball one more time. I could have sat down and hugged him one more time. Hugged her one more time. I could have tickled her nose, made her tickle her belly, scratched her belly one more time. You want clarity? Stay focused in the moment. Somebody's telling you you should be doing something else and you're listening to them. You should be hugging Tipper right now. That's the only thing you do. You want clarity?
Wow.
Y'all are going to get a little insight on me. I love the smell of puppy breath, right? I think we all do, if you love animals. I love the smell of puppy breath, but I love the smell of the dog's feet. I don't know why that is. I'm not a foot person in humanity, but dogs, there's just something about their feet. My dogs, I don't know. I've had the two that are out here now are number 39 and 40 dogs that I've had growing up. But there's just something about the smell of horses. I love this. I love the smell just behind their jaws. I don't know what it's. Yeah, I'm nuts. I get it. But you want clarity? Get clear that you don't want to miss a moment.
Thank you so much, Sean. I just had an aha moment. This is the first time I had an aha moment.
Okay, tell us. Are you okay with telling us?
No, it's just like the way you told me. It's like, whoa, like, you know, it's interesting. Like now I understand how Neno felt when he had that.
And see, for Neno, it was something different. For you, it was Tipper. In this conversation, it was Tipper. So my point is that clarity, the thing we look for, listen carefully, folks, this is a great metaphor. I think I'm using the word right. I'm not sure. I barely made it to school. Tipper is always the thing that's going to make you clear. The thing we're holding on to is what we're wanting to hold on to, but that it's very rare that we're clear about it. Have you counted the dots on Tipper? Can you tell me the number of dots on Tipper, the little black spot?
She has so many. She's a ragtame to the beagle. She has a big one. So
yeah, but my point is that I would encourage you today sometime, tomorrow sometime, this weekend sometime, count the dots on Tipper. You want to spend some time, you want to get clear on it, count the dots on Tipper. How many of us would, if we could really get clear, if we quote, counted the dots on our own Tipper of life? Everybody's waiting to sell you something. Everybody's waiting to put you into a program. Everybody's waiting for you to do it their way. I'm teaching you the 97%er way. You've got the answer sitting right in front of you, but somebody wants to draw you away to their goal. You need to come into my mind. You need to get signed up for a training I'm going to do about this. And I'm going to invite you all to a training here before long. That's going to be totally different than these calls in the morning. But here's the thing. Nobody would show up to the training that I'm going to provide, that I'm going to offer, that it's going to be for sale, if I can't give you stuff that's no cost, that puts you in action. You don't need to pay me to get into action. I will give you the secrets that's sitting right in front of you, and your biggest goal is Tipper. Listen carefully. You're in some kind of network marketing business, right? I'm guessing you said, Nano, you're in a network marketing business.
Yeah.
So have you ever used Tipper in your presentation?
Actually, no, I haven't.
Would you like to? Since everybody knows that Tipper is always with you. So what if your presentation was and Tipper wasn't with you? Say, listen, I've partnered with a company that allows me to have this absolutely amazing relationship with a little sister of mine, and she's actually our pet, but she's like this. She's with me, and this company pays me to count the spots on Tipper. What? Yeah, the company pays me to count the spots on Tipper, put a bow on her, because Tipper brings me joy. Tipper makes me happy. And the company that I partnered with wants me to be happy more often than not. How do you do that? Very well. Why do you ask? You see how you can use what's in life and not talking about the money, everybody wants to have a tipper in their life. It could be Tess and her 4 kids running around, absolutely enjoy. Crazy as heck sometimes, but the moment it's joyful. You get that? Does that help?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you.
And again, it seems like a simple question, but man, clarity's a big one. Clarity's a big one. Let's go to Bana. Bana V. How are you, Bana?
I'm good, Sean. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Good morning, everyone.
What question or comment do you have this morning? Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I'm so happy today because I feel like I am better today because I did more yesterday than day before yesterday. And all thanks to the knowledge and impact that I'm getting from you. And today is my first day I did my meditation. And after it was done on me, I began to ask myself some questions like, what's the difference this time around? Because like you said, most of the things you are teaching us is not new, but you are reminding us of the things we already knew. So I asked myself, what is different this time around? Then I came to an answer is because this time around, you help us to remember something we know already, and also you made us to understand them. Because it's from understanding we can be able to apply those knowledge. So once we understand, then it's more easier to apply than not. So I'm so happy that I'm making a big step towards my goals. All thanks to you. Thank you so much, Sean.
Bon, I appreciate it. Thank you. Namaste, brother. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to, let's see, who's next? We're going to go to Melissa R. So Melissa, hang on just a second. Ashley, the example of tipper is, how many of us would say that Jay Vallow really absolutely loves tipper? I bet everybody who knows him knows that tipper is like extraordinarily important. It's a part of his day, because people were saying he's always with tipper. Tipper's always with him. The reason that you should say it that way, listen, I've partnered with a company, me personally, I partnered with a company that lets me to do my business every day with my dogs around me. I partnered with a company that lets me bring lunch to my son every day, now that he drives, but he can't leave campus yet. He can't do off-campus lunch yet. So this year is the last year I get to bring him lunch because he needs me. Next year we'll have lunch together because he wants to. Big difference. But I partner with a company that lets me bring my son lunch every day. The reason that example works is because when people see you're doing something for yourself, as opposed to me telling you, you should be trading, you should be getting nutritionals, you should be drinking more water, I say, I'm taking care of me. And you know what? People raise their hand and say, can I take care of me? So find that thing that you get to do because of your company. You know what? I partnered with a company that lets me journal every day. Really? What is that? I should be, if you're journaling, I should be journaling. That's what's running on in their subconscious. See, people are predictable. And if you say you're going after something you love and you're being given something, you've partnered with somebody that's helping you do something you want, who are we looking for? We're looking for people who say, I want what you got, as opposed to you telling me what I need. Hope that makes sense. Melissa R., you're on the line. Let's go to Melissa R.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is my first time talking on one of your calls, so I'll try to make this kind of brief. First, I just wanted to thank you because I know one of my goals for the past 2 years is to wake up earlier, and now I have a reason. So thank you. And I actually wanted to mention a book that I haven't heard anybody talk about before. Hold on, let me see if I can turn my camera on. Hi.
Hi, Melissa.
Excuse my morning look. Okay, so this
listen, stop. I need you to stop right there. I need you to let us absolutely swim in your morning look. Do not apologize. So take that back. Say, I'm glad y'all get to see me.
I'm glad you get to see my morning look.
There you go.
So I have this book. There's this YouTuber called Humble the Poet, and he wrote this book called Unlearn. And it's basically a book that talks about unlearning the way that you've been preconditioned to think due to your, past experiences with your family, or, whatever you were going through, because, you are a product of your environment, unfortunately. And the book just talks about all the things you have to learn, all the negativity and everything that you need to move forward. And I've been reading it for, I'd say, about like a week or so. And I think that he's right. And I feel like sometimes we don't give ourselves a break. We expect to see change tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'm 35. So it's like, I've been thinking this way for 35 years. I can't expect for me to suddenly, I'm thinking positive today. So how come nothing's changing? And it's like, well, I have like 35 years of reconditioning to work on. So I shouldn't be expecting change immediately. And I would say the same for everybody else. So
60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. The number wasn't less when we were a child. And what we're doing, that's why the link to this call is personalundevelopment.com. So you're absolutely right. And that's the story, Melissa, is to be able to give up some of those old stories. But the challenge is can we Wayne Dyer them, Dr. Wayne Dyer them, meaning change the way we look at them and the things we look at change.
Yeah, the book by Wayne Dyer, The Power of Intention, is an amazing book. Amazing.
Yeah. And go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Wayne Dyer's book, this book Unlearn, 26 letters in the alphabet. What makes them special? The syntax, the order with which they assemble those letters. Imagine if they just dumped a whole bunch of, imagine if the letters were all jumbled on the pages and there was no coherent message to them, but it was the 26 letters, and you said, I wrote a book, and you handed us the books, Unlearn and The Power of Intention, and the letters were like all together. You'd be like, I can't understand this. So here's the thing, what you just shared with us, you coming on, being the first time to speak on the call, having this conversation, your beautiful morning look, we get to swim in. All of this is the story we tell ourselves. It's never the moment, it's the story we tell ourselves of the moment. Listen, when you stop talking, it's not what you say to me, it's what I say to myself when you stop talking. What is the story that you carry forward now from this moment? So I appreciate you, Melissa. What else do you want to share with us, my love?
I actually wanted to share a story, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
And I hadn't really thought about it until I told myself I was going to start opening up more and sharing more. And I know me and you had that conversation a while back. So I started, yesterday was the first time. And for anybody that doesn't follow me on IG, I kind of wanted to share it, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, please.
So I live in Dallas, but I'm originally from New York. And I didn't realize the leap of faith that I took to be here. So when I first came here, so I used to dance. I wasn't making any money in New York. So I decided, you know what? I need to change my circumstance because this is not working. I came to Dallas with only about $400 to $500 in my pocket. And I stayed in an Airbnb for a month because, I didn't have an apartment. And the goal was, this has to work. There's no plan B. Plan A is I'm going to make this work. And I did that. And can you guys hear me? Because Sean, you're frozen.
Yes, go ahead, honey.
Okay.
Well, if he's frozen, well, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. So, and I didn't realize till yesterday that that's the second time I've been in that situation. So I'm 35 now, but I first started dancing when I was 26. And I started because of the same reason. My rent was due in 2 days and I didn't have a job, and I didn't have the heart to tell my aunt that I wasn't going to be able to pay rent. So I dressed up as pretty as I could, and I walked the streets of New York and went to every single club auditioning until I got hired. And when I got hired, I paid my rent in 2 days. And I know, like sometimes we have issues or problems, and it's like, how do I fix this, or how am I going to make it through this? And I guess I share that story to say, you just have to basically look forward and don't worry about it, just jump. And I think that when God knows this is going to work and he's just waiting for you to know that it's going to work, and then you put in the work, that it's done. And you're always going to be good. You just have to have faith and, make the jump. So it's funny because I hadn't realized that this was like the second time that I went through this. But I just wanted to share that story because I hadn't really shared it.
So Melissa, I want to give you props. I want to give you a big virtual hug because we had this conversation, and the first thing I asked you is, so what's the story that you're afraid people are going to hear? And you shared that, and this wasn't, I don't know, how long ago did we talk? A week ago? Not even
like a week and a half ago or so.
Right, and now I offered you. I said, if you ever want to come on the call, I didn't know that it was going to be today, and I'm glad that it's today because so now we got to ask the question because there's other people right now who are sitting on this call saying, "Wow, I wish I had the courage Melissa had to tell the story." So if Melissa inspired you, drop some hearts in the chat for her to know that her vulnerability gave you strength because if you don't know her, she's just this amazingly strong, powerful woman. Look at all those hearts going up, right? So how do you feel now that you shared it again publicly, or you shared it maybe for the first time or the second time publicly in this forum? How do you feel?
I feel good, actually. I think when I was younger, I was so concerned about the thoughts of others, but I've become so comfortable with that part of my life that I'm not ashamed to share it.
See, and there's a big difference. Listen carefully when we talk about Brene Brown's work, Shame versus Guilt. There was a point to where possibly she might have had some shame in telling it. She wasn't guilty about it because she had to pay the rent, she had to do the things, and she had to take care of life. But now the shame isn't there. It's not even guilt is there. It's a story that's there. It's the story we tell ourselves about our story. So Melissa, thank you for sharing that. You inspired people today. I promise you, there's people saying, I can relate. Thank you for the courage.
You're welcome.
And I would also encourage you to put that down in a journal somewhere. This is a red letter day for you. This is a day of awakening and awareness. That be aware of the universe changing now. The colors outside, when you go outside, will change. They'll be a little bit brighter. They'll be a little bit clearer. And you'll have this amazing conversation with the world in a different way because of this vulnerability.
Okay, so one more thing, if you don't mind. So for anybody that is wondering what I do now, so when I first came to Dallas, I found out that a company that I've been watching since I was a kid is here called Funimation, who is now owned by Sony. And I applied to them when I got here. They didn't, I didn't get hired. So I continued on my journey. I put my life out on LinkedIn, decided that I was just going to, allow whatever's going to happen because I had a lot of faith. And a recruiter found me, said, can I work with you? And I said, yes. And then she's like, hey, have you ever heard of a company called Funimation? And I was like, yes, I have. She's like, can I send your work to them? So I said, sure. And then the next day she was like, can you start tomorrow? So now that's one of my clients. So instead of me working for Funimation like I originally wanted to do, now I can say I work with them, which, I'm still kind of shocked about it, because you never think that what you're aiming to get and then you walk away from, you never think that it's going to kind of come full circle for you,
When you read the story of Edison and the guy who he rode like in a tramp car on a railroad, he said, I came to work with you, to Edison. He said, I came to work with you. And he said, we're not hiring. He says, I'm not looking to be an employee. I'm going to work with you. And he swept the floors and he painted and he mopped and he eventually wound up being one of the richest men alive because he actually did wind up partnering with Edison. So he never went to work for him. He became his partner. That's good.
That's in the Napoleon Hill's book, right? Yeah, I just heard that story.
Yep, so you're the epitome of that.
Thank you to everyone that was sending love. I saw that Brittany said she wanted to say something.
Yep, I'm gonna check. See, hey Brittany, go ahead.
Oh my God, Ty, thank you. Okay, so really quick, I just wanted to respond to what it is that you were saying because I also had the same experience. And, you know, I tell my friends this all the time, like, we've already mentioned it before on the call, but like, I don't want to say like if you don't learn your lesson, but let's just say, for instance, like when you're doing things that don't truly align with your purpose and that aren't necessarily true to who you are, they will never fulfill you. And you'll just find yourself continuing to do the same thing over and over again. It'll just look like in different ways until you're finally like, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to live in this truth. I know what it is I want. I know what it is that I should be doing. And then everything will start to literally be magnetized to you. I don't even know if I said this before, but things will just start to come to you. I actually just experienced that myself, but it's like, anything that you put out to the universe is going to respond back with a yes. So if you're saying, hey, I can't do it, I'm not capable, I'm not ready, the universe is going to say, okay, yeah, you're not ready. Here's this shitty job, or here, you have to stay in the Airbnb because you're not making yourself ready. But once you tell the universe, like, you know what, let me just open up to it and stop resisting it and stop fighting it, the universe will literally pour everything that you need, that you want. It will be so effortless. Like you will literally just be like, wow, why didn't I just do this 10 years ago, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to like just put that out there for you and for anybody else, just to like continue to like live in your truth, live in your purpose, and do what it is that scares the hell out of you. Because once you take that leap of faith, anything that you like don't know that you need will literally be afforded to you in abundance from ways and people, places, and spaces that you never even thought like existed. That's it.
Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate you. Love you tons, girl. Thanks for
Love
being
you too.
an amazing soul.
Well, I think it also goes to say that you have to know that where you're at right now is where you're supposed to be. Because if I hadn't danced, I would have never went to Orlando, where I met the girl who told me I should try coming to Dallas. And if I hadn't come to Dallas, I wouldn't have the job that I have now. So everything that's happening is supposed to happen. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I think you just have to trust that. And when you stop trusting it, that's when, you know, all the anxiety and everything comes about.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Melissa,
So thank you for letting me share. Thank you, Sean. Have a wonderful day. Love you. Thanks, everybody.
We're going to go to Laura Mendez, 10K, and then that'll wrap it for today. We got Laura on.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so good to talk to you. I'm so excited today. Today I just woke up, and for some reason, like I kind of struggle waking up in the morning, even though I love your calls. Like I push myself, but today I just woke up like 5 minutes before, and it was just like, whoa, like I don't know, you know. So I guess that has something to do with everything that I'm feeling today, because it was meant to be that way. So I'm just so excited for that. First of all, well, I think for the past like 2 weeks, I've been like listening to the calls, and I've had a lot of aha moments, which I have to start journaling because I'm not doing that consistently. And I think it was so amazing how that was like one of the topics that was like, you know, the topic this week. And like this call and you saying that wasn't like the first person that told me that. Like yesterday, I go to therapy, and they were asking me how, like what I struggle with, and I was like, my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, hey, like you should journal. And they gave me like this whole page of like, just kind of like step by step how to start journaling. And I was like, well, that's crazy. So that was like another, you need to journal. So that's good. Because yeah, I just feel like I'm always thinking, and I always have these thoughts, and so I know I have to put them in the journal. That was the first thing that I wanted to say. So I'm so grateful for that. Second, what Melissa just said, and then Brittany saying like leap of faith, like, you know, follow your heart basically. I'm glad that they said that, because that I actually just made a decision, and it was like a huge leap of faith. So just listening to someone kind of saying, hey, like, you'll be fine, it's good. You know, sometimes we need that reassurance of you're making a good call, and even if it's not a good call, God will let you know along the way, and you'll learn a lesson. So anyway, that's amazing. But that was the second thing. I have a lot, but I just wanted to share. And then the third thing is that another thing that I guess like aha moment that I had this week and the week before that was your story. You know, you say a lot about like, we know you tell your story, but you can change that anytime. You know, it's the story that you tell yourself. And so something that I've been kind of like working with since November is I went to the Tony Robbins event in November. That was like my first time, and I don't know if you've ever been, if any of you guys have, but you know, I think it's the third day that you go through a process, and it's like, you know, it's like very emotional and whatnot. And I don't want to spoil it, but the purpose of the process is for you to kind of like let go and like start making action, right? Taking action. But I realized that like, even though the people that I was with had like a super huge breakthrough, I felt like I didn't. And I felt like it was a really great process, and it opened the door for me to start that process, but it wasn't like that moment was it for me. And I realized that, you know, listening to your calls and everything, that the thing that was holding me back was that I've been like, sorry, I'm getting emotional. I've been ignoring my story for so long that I kind of like, I just pushed it, right? But I didn't necessarily like deal with it. So I couldn't let go of it because I wasn't accepting it. And I remember, I think it was one of the calls this week, you talked about how in our struggles, there is strength. And so I just realized that, and that again, that's something that I'm working towards, that I needed to accept the story that I lived before so that I could move forward. And, you know, the process of accepting that, it's hard, but even though it's painful, it's like good painful. So I'm just so glad that I get to see, I'm using that word now. I get to join the call, because this is definitely a family that I needed to have, because that's another thing that sometimes I feel like I don't have a lot of good energy around me. And even though it's through a call, you guys have so much impact in my life. So I'm just so grateful for that, and I wanted to share that.
Well, Laura, I want you to sit in this moment for just a second. I don't need to say it. Sit in this moment. And I need you to hear how amazing you are. I need somebody to hear, I need you to hear that somebody absolutely loves you for all of the past, all of the future. All of that is part of a story, but in this moment, pure love. And there's plenty of people on here throwing you up hearts. They're proud of you. That you just inspired them. You encouraged them. You gave them the possibility to potentially live their own story, so that they're not 60 years old going, what happened to my life? Thank you for showing up this morning. Thank you for being here. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody on here that wants to speak something specifically to you. So Rhonda, go ahead.
I love Rhonda, by the way.
Hey, there you are. Sorry, I couldn't get my microphone to turn on. I don't even know where to begin. I'm sitting here just kind of basking in you and your essence and what you brought to me. And the whole time I was listening to you, I don't know, it's hard to put into words. My heart connected with you. And letting go of the old story it's hard. And but it's worth it. It's challenging, but it's worth it. And what you're doing, how you're moving forward is unbelievable. The power that you have inside of you, the woman that you are, not who people have told you you are, not what the world says you are, not what society says you are, not what your ethnicity says you are, but the woman that you are. Your essence is unbelievable. You're beautiful and you're powerful. You're magnetic. People want to get to you as quickly as possible. And sometimes you don't understand why. And sometimes you don't understand why people are looking at you and are drawn to you. And it's because of the true essence of who you are, the heart that's inside of you. When Sean says who you are speaks louder than what you say, you are the epitome of that. And you've, just from the outside, you're beautiful. But then when you open your mouth and you begin to share with me, I've only ever heard your voice really well today, and it's like I've always had you. And I need you to hear that from another woman. You are amazing and you empower me. And there's a big age difference, but it doesn't matter. This whole age difference was brought together by the words that you have. And I want you to know that a really good tip I would give you that I've learned here lately is clearly identify your source of approval and stick to that source's thoughts of you only. My source of approval is what God says about me. And I want to tell you what he says about you. And if you'll indulge me, I'm going to tell you one scripture that I love.
Go ahead.
And it's Psalms 34, 4-6. And it says, I sought the Lord and he heard me. Hang on, before I finish, put that in perspective. For me, he's the maker of this universe. I called on him and he heard me. So this is for you. I sought the Lord and he heard me and he delivered me from all my fears. Now listen, those who look to him are radiant. Laura, you're radiant and your faces are never covered in shame. This woman called on him and he heard me and he saved me from all my troubles. I don't know why I'm supposed to say that to you, but that is for you. And you need to hear from another woman. You are amazing and your heart's beautiful. Let go of those stories they made you, but it's time to let them go and breathe in a new you, a new beginning, a new fresh air into your lungs. In with the good, out with the bad. And it's gone. And I just love you. I love you. You have someone in Texas who loves you with a heart the size of Texas, who when I ever see you, I will lay a Texas-sized hug on you, and I will be thinking of you and praying for you, and I'm always available.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it's crazy because Psalms 34 is actually one of my favorite Psalms. I actually have verse 24 tattooed on my arm. So maybe it's just a reminder of, hey, remember that Psalms that you like? Yeah, read it more often. So
that's awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
So Laura, thank you. And I'm going to ask you to do something for yourself today, a little reward. Whatever that is, maybe get a cup of coffee, maybe get whipped cream on the top. Well, I know I need to promote. Just do something small, because the story that you had made you small. The story that you're releasing that's keeping you small is no longer going to allow you to be small. But we do need in this physical world, we do need to give the brain a reason to be vulnerable. The heart knows. The heart doesn't. The heart is not affected at all by you sharing the story. That's why the tears are showing up. Where the vibration and the scared and the shakiness comes in is because the brain's going, wait a minute, listen, she's about to tell the story. If she does, we don't longer exist. And it's going to do everything it can to keep its existence until it realizes going, oh, that wasn't so bad. But we have to get on the other side of that. So I'm going to encourage you, do something today. Take 5 minutes, read a good book. Walk a little extra, do something, sit in the park, get an extra shot of butterscotch in your coffee. I have no idea what it is. There's something small you can do, but when you do it, Say, this is my reward. When I sit down to journal, journaling to me, it's like an aphrodisiac of life. It gets me so excited about life. And when I sit down to journal, I say almost every single time, this is my gift for today. I get to remind myself of the glory of God, of how I walk in life, and the tragedies and the triumphs. I get to put that in a book. So thank you for having the courage today. How do you feel right now?
I feel great.
You look amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. And this is just, again, your calls just came to me when I needed them the most. Maybe if I would have been, in them before, they wouldn't have the same impact that they're having right now. So everything happens for a reason, always for the good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and I love you. And that's it.
I love you. Thank you so much. So there you go, folks. There's another amazing call in the books. This one didn't go to YouTube, but so I'll get it downloaded and uploaded into YouTube for you to watch here probably by this afternoon, I hope, maybe tomorrow. But I appreciate you all so much. Tomorrow the calls are at 8:30 Central Standard Time, so add 2 hours to whatever your start time is, and we'll have a conversation tomorrow. So I appreciate you so much. Tomorrow we'll have to end at 9:30 because I have to do photos for the lacrosse teams. And so I'm kind of the camera guy as well. So I'm going to be helping with that. So we're going to be ending hard on about 9:30 tomorrow. Love you tons. I appreciate you. Say goodbye to everybody. Go share a smile with your friends and tell everybody on the call you love them. And we'll see
Happy
y'all later.
Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Have a great weekend.
Good morning, everybody.
Everybody have a blessed day. Love you all, Misfits.
Misfit Master Misfit. All right, y'all. Blessings to y'all.
Everybody have a blessed day.